and the mistake millions of people make every single year is welcome to the How the Human Body Works series, where we examine each body part and how they interact with the brain. In this episode, we are focusing on the gut, also known as the second brain within the neuroscience community. We will be exploring what healthy gut function looks like, the gut and brain connection, common gut diseases, as well as how to improve your gut health and gut microbiome, how to avoid the biggest mistake that you may be doing that could be destroying your gut health and gut microbiome. And we're getting started right now. The gut or gastrointestinal system is made up of your esophagus, stomach, small intestine and large intestine, as well as your rectum. The stomach is very acidic, and this allows food, including things like proteins, to be broken down into smaller protein chains that can be easily absorbed by the body. Food is passed through the gut via peristalsis, which is a synchronized contraction of smooth muscle that basically squeezes food along your gut. There are around 40 trillion bacterial cells in your body, and most of these are found in your gut. So there actually are more bacterial cells in your body than you have human cells. Healthy bacteria aid in digestion as well as prevent harmful bacteria from colonizing your gut or body, because they are taking up all the nutrients and space in the body, so these harmful bacteria have a very difficult time growing there. Nutrients and water are reabsorbed into the body through the small intestine and large intestine, and this leaves you with poop. Let's examine the gut and brain connection. The gut is connected to your brain via a network of nerves called the enteric nervous system. These are made up of sympathetic pathways from the spine and parasympathetic pathways from the vagus nerves. It's estimated that there are over 100 million neurons or brain cells within your small intestine alone. So your gut has a mini brain of its own. And there may be some validity to the old saying, listen to your gut. This intricate network between the gut and brain sends communication to each other through both electrical and chemical signals, including hormone signals such as leptin, which is our fullness hormone. The gut also produces and stores more than 80% of our serotonin in our body. And serotonin is one of the brain chemicals of happiness. So our gut and gut health is essential for our mental health, as well as our ability to feel pleasure and happiness. So to understand what can go wrong in the gut, let's look at some common gut diseases. The first is gastroesophageal reflux disease, or GORD or GERD for short. This is where acid in the stomach goes back into the esophagus, usually because the lower esophageal sphincter isn't tight enough to stop the acid from going back. And this causes irritation and inflammation, which can lead to things like chest pain and upper abdominal pain, a burning sensation usually. So if you experience this, what you want to do is avoid lying down, so sit up after eating so that the gravity is in your favor. The second is gallstones, which usually happens when there is too much cholesterol in the gallbladder, and this can lead to formation of stones. These small stones on their own don't cause any harm, but if they do get lodged in a duct, they can lead to severe pain and even cause cholecystitis, which is inflammation of the gallbladder. The third is celiac disease, which is an intolerance or allergy to gluten. It's been estimated that there are over 80% of people who have celiac disease but don't even know it. And the only real way to know if you have an intolerance to gluten is to cut it out of your diet for a few weeks and see if there's a big improvement. Next up is inflammatory bowel disease, including Crohn's disease as well as ulcerative colitis. These are inflammatory conditions, usually because of autoimmune disorders where the body's immune system attacks itself. And this leads to inflammation in certain parts of the gut, causing many symptoms like diarrhea as well as abdominal pain. This is similar to inflammatory bowel syndrome, which is just a collection of symptoms including abdominal pain as well as changes in your stool consistency. Number 6 is diverticulitis. Diverticular disease is when you have outpouches in your gut, and this is usually seen in older people as the gut muscles become weaker. On their own, these pouches don't do anything, but if they become infected, then it becomes diverticulitis, which causes inflammation of your gut. And obesity is the biggest risk factor for diverticulitis. Number 7 is appendicitis, which is inflammation and infection of the appendix. The appendix is a small outpouch at the beginning of our large intestine, and because it's so small, there's a high risk of it bursting when it becomes infected. And this can lead to a leaking of your gut insides into your body, which is very harmful, and this is considered a medical emergency, and you need to have your appendix removed if this ever happens to you. And lastly is lactose intolerance, which is an inability to digest dairy products fully. And this can lead to bloating, farting, as well as diarrhea. So how can we improve our gut health? The first tip is to take probiotics. These are living organisms that help to improve our gut microbiome. They don't really help in healthy gut microbiome, but if you have a compromised gut microbiome, it can help to replenish these bacteria in our gut. So a really good source of this is in fermented foods, so things like sauerkraut and kimchi. These are high in lactobacilli, which can help to improve our gut microbiome. The second tip is to take prebiotics. Probiotics feed on non-digestible carbohydrates called prebiotics, and foods high in prebiotics include things like asparagus, bananas, onions, and garlic. Tip number 3 is to have more fiber in your diet. Fiber is not digested by humans, but is digested by a lot of the bacteria in our gut microbiome. And fiber also helps with gut motility as it bulks up the food, so it can be squeezed via peristalsis more easily. And the vast majority of people do not get enough fiber in their diet, so tip number 3 is super important. Tip number 4 is to have a diverse diet, because a diverse diet has been linked to a more diverse gut microbiome, which is great for our gut health. Tip number 5 is breastfeed. If you're a new mum, then breastfeeding helps to pass on your gut microbiome to your baby. So this is a great way to ensure the health of your child, and breastfeeding has also been linked to reduced risk of allergy as well as obesity. Number 6 is have foods high in polyphenols. These are antioxidants that are used as fuel by the gut microbiome. And I'll leave a list of foods high in polyphenols right now. Number 7 is avoid artificial sweeteners, so things like aspartame, saccharin, and sucralose. These have been shown to be harmful to the gut microbiome. Number 8 is reduce sugar intake. Refined sugars have been shown to damage the gut microbiome, so to avoid that, reduce your sugar intake. Number 9 is pet an animal. Studies have shown that people who have dogs have a more diverse microbiome. So by petting an animal, you could be improving your gut health. And the mistake millions of people make every single year is taking antibiotics unnecessarily. Broad-spectrum antibiotics target all sorts of bacteria, both harmful bacteria as well as the good bacteria in our gut microbiome. So you could be wiping out bacteria in your gut microbiome, and this could be destroying your gut health. So please, if you only have viral symptoms, so like cold, runny nose, something like that, then avoid taking antibiotics unless absolutely necessary. If you do have symptoms like coughing up green or yellow sputum, then please, do take antibiotics. But if you just have a cold, avoid it at all costs. Antibiotics are completely useless against viruses because they only target bacteria and not viruses. So they're not antivirals, so please avoid making this mistake. And leading on from that is the bonus tip, which is avoid the overuse of antibacterial sprays and wipes. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button and tell a friend about the channel. Subscribe to achieve better brain health. Check out this video, which looks at the heart and brain connection and how the human heart works. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll see you guys in the next video.